Hey, everybody. Well, welcome back to Coach Cruise. As most of you know, I'm your host, Brad, and we have Andrew from Funnel Heads, and we have Sadie here, who is very interested because I didn't give her any treats, uh, made her wait for the show. So she's excited for the show as well. I know a lot of people are going to be watching this on replay because who doesn't like to talk about food and discuss food? And that's what we are discussing today. Andrew and I both have collaborated on several videos now. I think this is at least the third one.
Yeah, yeah.
And the topic of discussion, I think that all happen to be about food, believe it or not. we we definitely like talking about food, and so we've done it again, but we did it in a little bit of a fun way this time with March Madness being here. For those of you that follow basketball, there are 16 teams left in the March Madness pool. So had the idea like, hey, let's see how many restaurants we can find on Carnival and food options and things like that. Sure enough, there's more than 16.
Yeah.
We did have some qualifiers, though. A couple of those qualifiers where they couldn't just be on a ship or two. They had to be on at least four ships, which eliminated barely. Like Shaq's Big Chicken was one that really hurt. I know Andrew and I are both big fans of Shaq's Big Chicken, but like we said, your best ability is availability, and unfortunately, they're just not available on enough Carnival ships to, qualify them as the best overall because not as many people are going to be able to take advantage of going to Shaq's Big Chicken. So I see the numbers are starting to jump up, and I never remember to say this. I don't know why it's in my head today, but I'm remembering if you could hit that like button,
There you go.
drop that chat thing down, and then find that little button and then hit that thumbs up. Would greatly appreciate it. And before we really get rolling here, Mike was first, and he was watching the premiere earlier. We got Tony G here. Good to see you again, Tony G. We got Christy Curry back again. We have Yoli. What is going on? Hola, Yoli. We got Michael Allen here. We got Tim G. And we got Ann back again. And Nick is here. Okay, so we got a lot of familiar faces, and that is great to see. And yeah, so just real quick, I think everybody knows how the whole super chat thing works. At least look at that, Frankie. He strikes it just right every time. As soon as I start getting into explaining it, Frankie Floyd is the first with the super
It's
chat
like he
once
planned
again.
it.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, you're not supposed to give away my secret, Andrew.
My bad.
So, Frankie, you were actually 1 through 4 already. So now you are 1 through 7. Okay. So we're just going to put 1 through 7 there. All right. So, yeah, that's how that works. We go to 100. And once we get 100 in super chats, then we raffle off a shirt. I asked Siri, give me a random number 1 through 100. And if she calls or picks the number that's corresponding to when you put your super chat in, you get a shirt. And I wanted to show off, I've shown it on the Facebook page, but I do have the new Coach Cruise shirts in, and really like how they turned out. The colors really pop on there. But this is just one option. We have our traditional Coach Cruise shirts as well, if you prefer those. But that is another choice for you today. And then Lito Tito, before you go, he says he'll be in and out. He's cooking. That's right. He's making a steak and some salmon. So can't blame you for that. It is that time of night. But look, Lito Tito, he hooked me up with this shirt. So I'm proudly wearing my new shirt today. Lito Tito sent this to me. Just got it yesterday, and I've worn it 2 days in a row. I'm not ashamed.
There you go. It looks damn good.
Yeah. So let's see. Oh, and Yoli likes the polo. And actually, Yoli, they're not. These would have to be priced really expensive, to be honest with you. I mean, it would have to be on Yeah, well, we'll figure that out. I know a lot of people. Derek from Island Time, he has the same thing, and I know people ask him all the time as well. Look at that. We have Ann here. Um,
With a nice pair of pants, you could wear that to the dining room.
yeah, yeah, and well, I'm going to.
There you go.
Ann, you are 8 through 12. Thank you so much for that. And yeah, let's say hi to a couple more people. We have Margarita Masi. Hi, first time catching a live.
Awesome.
And hey, thank
Welcome,
you.
welcome.
And C2C is here. GB Fat Cat. Hi, y'all, and hi to you. Nick, like I said earlier, Mike was the first one here. And again, thank you for that super chat. Let's throw that on the screen there. And yeah, I think we're all caught up. And Nick says he loves your Griswold shirt.
Oh, thank you. Big fan.
Yeah, and that is cool. And then we got Kevin. Yeah. All right. So I think we're all caught up. One real quick thing. If somebody does do a super chat, that gets me a shot, remember $10 gets Sadie, some of her favorite treats here. And I do have little tiny treats, so it's not like she's being cheated. She gets these throughout the show. So she's getting something for being here. So don't feel like she's not getting anything. And then, yeah, my treat, if anybody chooses, for a $15 super chat. And instead of doing a shot, I got a little fancy here. I got a cup of ice. As you can see, it has nothing in it right now, but it could have this in it, with the super chat shirt. Thanks for that, Fireball. Like I said, Kevin, he's going to be on that April 1st Horizon cruise. He's been messaging back and forth with me, so we are both pumped for that. I got a golf cart in Bonaire. We're trying to figure out a way to get Kevin one. They're sold out at every place. Cruise Nuts is here. And let's see. Ann says she wore my shirt on the Mardi Gras last week. Oh, yeah. And how did that bar crawl go, Ann? Because I saw she said she got stopped several times by people that recognize you. Oh, very cool.
That's
and
awesome.
Then yeah, Fireball, I do know a guy. And yeah, okay. So let's get going. I'm going to give Sadie a couple more snacks here, so maybe she'll leave me alone for a minute. Yeah, so the show again today, where we've got the 16 top ranked food venues or food meals that you can get on Carnival ships. And I was telling Andrew, before we went live, that I had the pictures, and obviously they're on the video. And those of you that watch the premiere, you could see those. Kevin, thank you for that. You are 13 through 17. I'm writing you down right there. And anyway, the pictures, for whatever reason, StreamYard was not letting me do it, or my computer wasn't letting me do it. And Christy's wearing her purple Coach Cruise shirt today. So let's get right into this. So in the Vista bracket, let's read off here. I'm going to read off all 16 teams that made the final 16. We're going to go from your 4 seed up to your 1 seeds. So the 4 seeds. Okay, in the celebration bracket, we had Bonsai Teppanyaki coming in as a 4 seed. Another 4 seed from the Panorama bracket was Seafood Shack. Then we had a 4 seed Guys Smokehouse Restaurant. And then we had another 4 seed Guys Sea Date Barbecue. Now, those are different. You may be like, oh, aren't you saying the same thing? No, they're different. We'll explain that in a little more detail. The 3 seeds, starting in the Vista bracket, we have the I might have messed that one up. We have the Captain's Pasta. Yeah, I'm sorry. We have the Captain's Pasta Bar. Okay, they are the 3 seed. And the 3 seed in the Panorama bracket is Bonsai Sushi. The 3 seed in the Glory bracket is the Mongolian Wok and the Deli. I combined the 2 because originally I'd forgotten to put one of those 2 in. And then in the 3 seed in the Celebration bracket is the Chef's Table. Now let's get to the top 2 seeds. All right. So the 2 seed in the celebration bracket is C Day Brunch. The 2 seed in the panorama bracket is Cucina de Capitano. The 2 seed in the glory bracket is the Lido Buffet. And the 2 seed in the Vista bracket is the Pizza Pirate. Now the top dogs. In the Vista bracket, we have Guy's Burgers. They are a #1 seed. In the panorama bracket, we have the Steakhouse, which obviously is a specialty restaurant that charges, but they are #1 seed in the panorama bracket. The glory bracket has the main dining room as the #1 seed, which is free. And the celebration bracket has the Blue Iguana Cantina as your #1 seed. Okay, so let's get into the Vista bracket first because that's the way I did it on the video. I'm not sure how you did yours. I was telling Andrew off camera, I haven't watched his video yet. And again, he did the exact same thing. We even shared the brackets with one another, so they're going to look the same on his video. At least I think. I haven't seen the video
I
yet
stole
either. So in the Vista bracket, let's go the 1 versus the 4. Did you have an upset or did Guy's Burgers come out on top as the 1 seed there, Andrew?
Guy's Burgers came out on top.
Yeah. I mean, it's so iconic. It would be like, I mean, you're not going to have Guy's Smoke. Now, I will say this, and Guy's Smokehouse Restaurant, part of the reason why, it doesn't get more consideration to upset Guy's Burgers, at least in my opinion, is, again, availability. It's not available on most of the ships in Carnival's fleet. It's only available, as far as I know, on 4 ships. That would be the 2 ships in the XL class, Horizon and Panorama, right?
Mm-hmm.
Those are the only 4. So if you don't go cruising on any of those 4 ships, you're not going to get an opportunity to even visit that establishment on Carnival Cruises, whereas most of these other restaurants, most of the Carnival ships will have them. Okay, so yeah, my choice was Guy's Burger as well, and that was a pretty easy winner there. But one thing I will say, Guy's Smokehouse Restaurant, they do have some really, really good appetizers.
Yeah.
The loaded tots, I'm a big fan of. I know Mark from Cruise World was on here a week or 2 ago, and he was saying how much he loved the trash can nachos, which are really good. Do you have any favorites from that?
I mean, we do enjoy the nachos as well. But yeah, I mean, just going up against Guy's Burger, like if you were to ask me what's something that I have to have before I get off the ship, in a week or however long I'm on the cruise, it's going to be Guy's Burger. So it's hard to go against Guy's Burger. I mean, fresh, hot, ready, quick, all the condiments you want. I mean, it's just amazing. So it was kind of a no-brainer for me.
Now, I have a question for everybody in the comments that's watching. Is there anybody that doesn't choose Guy's here? Is there anybody Guy's Burgers, that is, because we're talking about 2 different guys.
Yeah, that's true.
Is there anybody that doesn't think Guy's Burgers should have advanced here? Kevin B is saying tots. Yes.
The tots are good.
And yeah, those tots are good. All right. So since there are no major complaints here, let's move on. Let's stay in this Vista bracket. And we have the Pizza Pirate going against the Captain's Pasta Bar. I'll go first this time.
All right.
I had to go with the Pizza Pirate because honestly, I don't even know if I've even ever eaten at the Captain's Pasta Bar. I know of it. I've never gone to seek it out. I know I try to avoid carbs whenever possible. So I had to go Pizza Pirate here. I have been, I don't want to say critical of the Pizza Pirate just because I'm from Chicago and, I prefer the pizza here. But it's for a cruise pizza, it's pretty solid pizza. So what did you say there, Andrew?
So I went the same way. I mean, we have had the Captain's Pasta Bar before. It takes a little bit of time to, of course, prepare because it's basically made to order. You kind of pick what you want, what type of pasta, sauces, all that good stuff. So it's a little bit of a wait. Only open for lunch, which is also kind of a downfall. Pizza, of course, open pretty much all day, late night. I always joke around like pizza gets better as the day gets later, and there's a few more drinks involved. But I mean, for pizza that's done in what, 20, 25 minutes, made from scratch, I mean, for cruise pizza, it's very good, hits the spot, especially like I said, late at night. So definitely went with the pizza there. What's your favorite pizza though that you like order? I know typically I just get whatever's available because it's the quickest, but
Yeah, when I like to be a little bit different, I'll go with that prosciutto
oh
one,
yeah, that's pretty good.
just because that's a different offering. But your typical pepperoni, I'm usually
Gotcha.
okay with that.
Yeah.
Uh, Tim G, thank you, and Sadie, look at this. Get away from me. You see the slobber hanging off her mouth. I don't know if you can see that, everybody, but here, take this and take your slobber with you.
She's famished.
I got a new shirt here. She's trying to slobber on me. But yeah, thank you for that, Tim. And Tim, you are numbers 18 through 29 for the next drawing. And Tim is one of our most recent winners. And I have your package and a couple other packages sitting on the dining room table out there, all packaged up, ready to go. I just got to get them in the mail, so I will let you know when I do that. Usnabi is a fan of the margarita pizza.
Yeah, that's one of me and Michelle's favorites.
I'm going to have to give that one a shot next time. And then, just the good old fashioned cheese pizza sometimes by itself can be, a good way to go. All right. So we've reached the Elite Eight in the Vista bracket, at least. And so in the Vista bracket, when we determine a champion in the Vista bracket, they will be going against the Panorama bracket. So let's drop down to the Panorama bracket. And we have the Steakhouse versus the Seafood Shack. And I eat at these two on every cruise. Who'd you have winning here, Andrew?
I was this close to picking Seafood Shack. I love the Seafood Shack, but I mean, you can't go wrong with the Steakhouse. Amazing. It's an experience. Of course, it can be more expensive, especially if you're going, with multiple people. But I mean, it's, more of a restaurant, sit down, kind of like treat yourself night, where the Seafood Shack is just delicious. I mean, obviously, you order at the counter, you get the little buzzer, you wait nearby and just kind of eat it wherever. So that was my thought process. I chose steak, but it was a good 5-minute conversation in my own head of like, can I really put the Seafood Shack ahead? I would have been fine either way, but Steakhouse wins for me.
All right. Yeah. And you know what? I mean, the Steakhouse was for me as well. I had them as the number one seed for a reason. I go every cruise. It's one of the things I look forward to the most. And honestly, it's kind of a tradition for me to go. I mean, we haven't done it every single cruise, but most cruises, I book the Steakhouse on night one. And that is just to kind of get the cruise started off right.
Well, and you get the free bottle of wine too the first
Yeah.
night, right?
Yeah, you do. And I mean, that can be really important. Like, for example, if you're going out of Texas and your Cheers package doesn't kick in till the second day, that bottle of wine can come in really handy.
Yeah.
Maybe you a couple bucks off the bill, plus the bottles of wine you get to bring in.
Yeah, it's Texas and actually New York too. So if you're leaving from New York as well, but yeah, that might get you through for an hour or so.
Right. And then the other ports, when I've had the Cheers package, sometimes I'll just bring that bottle of wine, tell them not to open it, and then I give it away as a prize on the bar crawl the next day.
There you go. That's a good idea too.
Yeah. And it looks like we have so many people here. Let me see. Did anybody say the Seafood Shack? Tim says Steakhouse. Angie says Steakhouse. And I mean, people aren't just saying steakhouse. They're like
They're
throwing
shouting it from the rooftop.
yeah. Steak all the way, says Cruise Nuts, Christie Steakhouse, 2 exclamation
Which
points.
is funny because, like, I live in the seafood capital of our area. I mean, literally, our town says, a small drinking town or a small fishing town with a drinking problem. So we have so much fresh seafood right like 2 minutes down the road. But Michelle doesn't eat seafood ever. So the only time I get to have it is when I'm on a cruise. So that's why I almost lean towards the seafood shack as well.
Yeah, and again, I have had the peel and eat shrimp. I really
Oh
enjoy
yeah.
the steamed peel and eat shrimp or whatever. Oh, and Yoli just said it too. I love the peel and eat shrimp, but I have to go with the steakhouse. Usnavi, she lives in the South in Louisiana, so yeah, they get great seafood all the time. So
Mm-hmm.
it's kind of like the same thing with the pizza for me up here in Chicago. That's the way the seafood is for her. Ann says the steakhouse. Kevin B, love the steakhouse. Kevin's going the first night. Well, we'll probably see you there then, Kevin.
Oh, there you go.
We're booked for like 5:45, 6 somewhere. Frankie says steakhouse, but they cut the dessert. Yeah, you know what, Frankie? I'm so full by the end of that though that the size of the cheesecake. I used to be massive. I know it was way too big. Um, yeah, Angie, and me too. Let's see. And Ann says jealous. And okay, so it's a clean sweep. The steakhouse
Hey,
blew away the
we're doing
competition.
good so far.
Yeah, yeah. So let's get to the bottom of the bracket now, and this is going to be a tougher decision, I think. We have Cucina de Capitano versus Bonsai Sushi.
This
What
was
did you go
another
with here,
close. You go first. This was close for me though.
okay. You know what? I part of it maybe is I try to I trust me, when I go on a cruise, I indulge, I eat the desserts, I eat, whatever I want, but there's something about signing up for just giant amounts of carbs like you would in the Cucina de Capitana. But I a lot of times I still go to Cucina and I'll get like the pork chop, which is really good on their menu. On the XL class, I really like the Cucina menu and go there often. But I had to go with Bonsai Sushi. Anita is a sushi lover, and she's kind of turned me on to it as well. But it's affordably priced. They have some noodle bowls that are really good as well. And so just by a hair, I had a small upset there with the number 3 seed taking out the 2 seed. I had Bonsai Sushi defeating Cucina de Capitano and moving on to the Elite 8. What did you have there, Andy?
Yes, so for me, this was really, really close. We do Bonsai Sushi every cruise as well. It's a great evening, especially if there's a show you want to see and you don't really want to go to the dining room. That takes a little bit longer. You can get in and out. If it's a restaurant, you can get in and out quickly. If it's just like obviously the pickup area, that works too. But yeah, I mean we love Bonsai. Great variety, and it's really inexpensive. Like for the two of us, we usually spend less than $50. However, I love Cucina. My last name is Innocenti, so I think my family would disown me if I didn't pick Cucina del Capitano. And I mean, honestly, I just like the vibe in there. Very family style. Reminds me of being home with everybody. We share plates all the time, especially like me and Michelle and Brett. So it's kind of like we share anyway. So it's basically the same thing. But yeah, I mean, there's every day. Who doesn't love pasta, bread, butter?
Oh yeah. And let me say something about that bread while you bring it up there. That bread is crazy. Like they have these light, fluffy rolls, and then they put like this really delicate light cheese and butter on top. I mean, those little rolls that they give you are to die for at the beginning. I mean,
Brett like just eats all of the bread and then he's super stuffed, just like everybody, I'm sure. But like he just goes to town with those.
Well, you do have Tim is not a sushi fan, so he can go to he will go dining with you.
Yeah, there we go. Me and Tim will be.
Yeah. I tell you what, I was kind of surprised that sushi won. At least in our commenters here, sushi won pretty handily. So yeah, I honestly I thought that was going to be like a 50-50, or Cucina would be slightly ahead because and I've noticed this as well. I don't know if you have, Andrew. You probably have. A lot of the crew, I mean, when they have
Oh
a
yeah,
special evening, that's where you see them at. You'll
they're
see big
always there.
tables of crew members having dinner together in Cucina. Not as much do I see that at Gigi's when I'm on ships that have Gigi's and Cucina. It's usually always Cucina. Um, I know Anna Maria, she's an alchemist, and I see, we're friends on Facebook, and I'll see her post pictures of when her and her husband, because they are always on the ship together, go out, and it's almost always you see them like at Cucina, when they have a special night or something. So, yeah. All right. So we have closed out the panorama bracket, and that moves us on to the glory bracket. And the glory bracket had as the number 1 seed the main dining room. The 4 seed was Guy's Sea Day Barbecue. The 2 seed was the Lido Buffet, and the 3 seed was a combo of the Mongolian Wok and the Deli. Before we get into that bracket, again, we didn't high five for Tim. High five for Tim. That was for Sadie's treat. And I already gave her the treat. If you don't remember, she was slobbering on my arm, or she was about to put a big piece of slobber. So any $10 super chat gets Sadie another big treat here. And then if anybody does do a 15 or higher super chat, I get to put something in this glass besides ice. But let's move on here. We have the glory bracket, and I'm pretty sure Andrew and I are going to be in agreement on this first game. We have the main dining room versus Guy's Sea Day Barbecue. So I'll let you be the first in agreement.
I mean, this was the easiest one on the bracket by far. I think everybody knows I'm not a fan of the Guy's Sea Day Barbecue. Maybe when it first came out, it was definitely better. Quality's gone downhill. It's only open on sea days, so the lines are insane, and the taste is just not there. So we love the main dining room 9 nights out of 10. It is an amazing experience. They may have a hiccup here or there where there's a little bit longer wait, or maybe your dish isn't perfect, but it's also an experience. It's time to get the family together. If you have, older kids, or you're there with friends or other family members, it's everybody comes to the table, discuss the day, plans for the next day, the entertainment, the service. I mean, it's literally a show in itself. So we love the main dining room. We go there, a lot during the cruise. Not so much on the XL class ships, but if it's, any other class ship, that's usually where we will go.
Yeah, that's a great point. And the XL class, because there are so many different eating options, and that's where I mentioned Cucina earlier. In the XL class, when they have a special offering in the main dining room, like for example the formal nights when you can get lobster, Cucina, they don't they're not as strict on the dress code, I guess you could say, on formal nights. And so if you don't want to dress to the nines and go to the main dining room to get your lobster or prime rib, whatever it is you choose, Cucina is a little more casual. You can go in there and get your lobster there. They'll serve it there as well. And I think they do also in Shebang. I
believe so.
I know Cucina does. But yeah, I agree. The main dining room, I just like the different selections from night to night. The menu always changes. I know that's one thing Anita and I enjoy doing is we'll check the menu like, oh, what do they got in the main dining room? And if the menu doesn't look that appealing to us, then we might make a decision to go to, say, a bonsai sushi. Oh, let's go get a couple rolls of bonsai sushi or something. I don't really care for the menu at the main dining room. But most of the time we see something on there that we like. And so main dining room, hands down. Brad had said, guys, hands down. Sorry, MDR. Oh, MDR was a huge disappointment.
Oh no,
December. Brad,
I wonder
Yeah,
what's.
I think I remember you saying that. And that's the one thing. And, I've been disappointed in the main dining room on a couple of cruises. Um, but and there's other cruises where I've been really, really happy with the main dining room. And I've heard some people complain about the main dining room. And then, it seems to me like it almost changes from cruise to cruise or, for sure, ship to ship. I don't know. It's kind of hard to
What I
explain.
will say about the main dining room is we always do your time dining, and I think that's what causes a little bit of the issues because you get different staff. A lot of the crew may be newer in the main dining room, but what I would say is if you do your time dining, and let's say you have a fantastic staff that first night, you can request them for the rest of the week. There may be a little bit more of a wait, but it might be worth it. So just keep that in mind because I think that's a lot of times what happens and what's the issue.
Right. Yeah, and since you brought up the anytime dining, the good thing I like about that is if you do the anytime dining and you come across a waiter or waitress that you really enjoyed or a wait staff that you really enjoyed, the next time you go back for anytime dining, you can request those same waiter and waitresses. And I know when Usnavi is here now, but we were on a big group together for New Year's Eve, and we requested the same dining area.
Mm-hmm.
I forget the name of the gentleman, maybe Usnavi, maybe you remember, but he was really good. And he even did magic tricks and stuff. I mean, he was a
There you
waiter,
go.
but he did magic tricks. And we always sat in the very front, a big table that seated about 12 people or whatever. So that is one thing that you can do. You don't have to have assigned dining to move it around. Yeah, you know what? Together we travel. If you could tell Lee hello for me, I would love that. Maybe
Yes.
post a picture on the Facebook group. And let's see. And then Cookie, who we interviewed as well, just a couple weeks later, um, I'll get to see him personally in less than 2 weeks. So yeah, that's going to be cool. All right, so we are in the glory bracket now. We've eliminated Guys C Day Barbecue. Just Guys C Day Barbecue again. Andrew mentioned it when it first came out. I don't know. It tastes a lot better. I don't know whether the choice of meats, if it's prime versus choice now. But yeah, it's just not quite what it was. The chicken's still pretty good. I did have a couple pieces of chicken from there, and I thought that was decent. And the greens were okay. All right, so we have the Lido Buffet versus the Mongolian Wok and the deli combined. I'll go first on this one.
Yeah.
Now, I'll tell you what, one of my favorite lunches when you get there and the line is not too long, that's on your regular ships. Now, when you go to a ship that has a Gigi's, like we'll be going on the horizon, this is a much better situation because they actually have a wait staff that comes and takes your order and then they bring you your food back. But when you're on a traditional ship, the Mongolian Wok, you have to wait in line and it's just kind of like the omelet station, except it takes even longer than the omelets. And they have to do all your stir fry and your meat and everything else like that. And they have multiple walks going at a time, but it takes a long time, especially if the line is long. So that's one knock on the Mongolian Wok. But aside from that, I mean, you're getting stir fried veggies and meats and whatever toppings that you want to put on it. It's really, really good. So big fan of the Mongolian Wok. I know, and well, I don't want to steal Andrew's comment, but I'm a big fan of the deli. They have some hot and cold sandwiches, and there are sandwiches on both sides of that menu that I like, the hot and the cold, that are really, really tasty. So I am going to go with the Mongolian Wok and deli, knocking out the Lido Buffet. I do appreciate the made to order omelets in the morning for breakfast. I just feel like there are better choices for lunch and dinner. On the Lido Buffet that I would rather go to. So that's why I'm going to go with the Mongolian Wok and the deli, overtaking the Lido Buffet as the number 3 seed. So what do you got, Andrew?
So yeah, I mean, I'm pretty much in agreement with you. I mean, I forgot about the deli altogether, so mine was just Mongolian Wok versus Lido Buffet, the marketplace. I really enjoy the deli though, anyway, for a lot of the same reasons, hot and cold, sandwiches and wraps, amazing. But in my video, I was heavily leaning towards the Mongolian Wok. I typically try to do it on the first day, though, before the lines get crazy. Like we were on the Magic just a week or two ago, and the first day, I got it in like 5 minutes, perfect. Loaded it up with all different types of vegetables. We do the Szechuan sauce, so it's nice and spicy. If you're going to the Caribbean, it might not be the best dish to eat outside because, hot, spicy, but definitely delicious. As far as Lido Marketplace goes, a lot of the same thing, reasons that you listed. We definitely enjoy, the eggs your way or omelets. We love the convenience for the Lido Marketplace. A lot of the salad, make your own salad stuff. We do that all the time. Even if we get, deli or pizza, usually we're getting, a side salad with that. So we definitely go there for that. Other than that, a lot of repeating items. Food is really kind of bland, not very hot a lot of times. And I feel like I'm always running into somebody, even though I'm like purposely trying not to. It's just packed in there and everybody's got, whether it's, bowls, plates, coffee mugs. I feel like I'm always knocking into somebody and I'm just in the way. So I hate that feeling as well. I try to get in and get out as soon as possible. We even try to go like time frames that a lot of people aren't eating at, and it's still crazy. It doesn't matter unless you're waking up at like 5 a.m. But yeah, it's definitely going to be the Mongolian Wok for us.
All right. Well, we're definitely in agreement on that. And then Christy and Angie jumped in here, and I think just about everybody was in agreement. I didn't see anybody with the buffet, but Christy, thank you so much. I'm going to pour this first shot in here. Get that one in there, and then there's another one coming. But this is a high five for Christy, and then we have a high five for Angie coming up. We'll let her do that one first, and don't let me forget to take care of that. And then Angie, thank you here very much. We will get this second shot. We're going to fill that one up nice and full, just like the first one. And look at that. Look at how nice and full this glass is now.
Beautiful.
So thank you, ladies, very much. This is awesome. Christy said Sadie needs a treat, and Coach, you look parched. Yes. And Angie says, drink up, Coach. Get your practice in for April 1st. As I've said many times, Angie is one of the Charlie's Angels, and they are going on that cruise with Anita and I, and we're all back in the Havana area, so that's going to be a party. Kevin B is on that same cruise. And cheers and thank you. So yeah, that is great, and thank you again. Thank you. That was awesome. Oh wait, let's see. I got to mark you down. Let's see, Christy, you are 30 through 49. And Christy won a shirt not too long ago. And Angie, that makes you 53 through 6. I'm sorry. 53. No, 50. I take that back. 50 through 64. Your number's 50 through 64. All right, so we are only 36 away from giving away another shirt, and we got CME traveling here.
Oh, hey, Kurt,
what's that?
Oh, I was just saying hey to Kurt.
Oh yeah, Kurt and Marsha, yeah. And how's the magnet collection coming along, by the way?
Right.
So, did you get any new magnets? So that's if you go watch CME traveling, they have a fridge and they have quite a nice collection of magnets that everybody teases them out. So wondering if you got any new ones. Lito Tito says the steak and salmon is delicious, but pretending to be on a ship right now is hard. Yeah, I know. There's something about being out on the seas and having your meals on the ocean. I completely understand that. Usnavi says the Szechuan is my all-time favorite. See me deli on the Carnival Freedom and Paradise is very good. And yeah, and Kevin, yeah, we are definitely going to party. Brian from Holly
Oh, hey,
Cruise,
Brad.
what's going on, Brian? Good to see you. I'm going to take another sip before we move on to our next bracket here. All right, so we are going down to our final bracket, and that is the celebration bracket, our newest ship. And we toyed with the idea of naming these brackets after cruise directors, and then I don't know, just ended up doing ships instead. But the celebration, obviously, the newest ship, at least until the Jubilee comes out. And we have coming in as the number 1 seed, the Blue Iguana Cantina versus the up-and-comer Bonsai Teppanyaki. Bonsai Teppanyaki. And then the 2 seed is Sea Day Brunch versus the Chef's Table. Now, the one thing before we get into this, I really enjoyed about doing this food compilation, and Andrew and I did a couple videos on free food compilations, but in this one, we included specialty dining. Mm-hmm. And you know, some of these, you know, especially the Chef's Table, for example, is pretty damn pricey. Yeah. You know, teppanyaki is a little pricey. The steakhouse is a little pricey, you know, so you have to kind of weigh in, well, you know, this cost, this one's free, you know, so you kind of have to factor those into your decisions. And it's like, is it really, really worth, you know, spending the money, or should I just go the free route and be happy with that? We have a couple more votes. Oh, we got Tex here. Tex is here now. Good to see you, Tex. And Macrina Elizabeth Holder, Bonsai Teppanyaki. She's picking bonsai. Okay, we have some bonsai fans, a lot of bonsai fans. They're already getting the vote out before we even get into this. Okay. So, well, I will let you. I feel like the pressure's on now.
well, they're going to be disappointed with my selection because I went.
Go ahead and get it out.
So, I just, at the end of the day, bonsai is amazing. Teppanyaki, it's very limited though. You know, you really almost have to reserve it before you cruise, like months in advance a lot of times, especially if you're going during one of those peak times. Price, definitely pricey for a specialty restaurant. And Blue Iguana just has so many things that I enjoy. I eat at Blue Iguana at least. If I'm going on a 7-day cruise, I'm eating there at least 4 or 5 times throughout the cruise. Where Bonsai Teppanyaki, I'll have one and done. It'll be an amazing experience, don't get me wrong, and the food is delicious. You know, it's, again, a show. You have that one-on-one experience, you know, with your cook. But at the end of the day, I just kind of said, you know, free, pretty pricey, and I went with Blue Iguana. I absolutely love the condiment station at Blue Iguana too. I'm a big like hot sauce guy. So I love, you know, getting like the tacos, burritos, loading up, trying all the different hot sauces. So that's my pick. Don't hate me.
No, I hear you. And I'll get into mine in a second. But we have a question here from See Me Traveling. Is the Bonsai Teppanyaki like the shebang? No, it's not. Because the Bonsai Teppanyaki is like, you know, when they have one of those cooks behind the grill.
It's
and
like a hibachi.
Yeah,
grill, basically.
Yeah, it's like a hibachi grill, exactly. You know, and they're doing all the tricks, flipping the knives up in the air, and you know, cracking some silly jokes, and just making it a fun evening where they interact with you while you watch them cook, and yeah, it's a really good meal, and usually I believe all the stations on all the ships I think are 10 people each. So we do have that reserved on the cruise upcoming. So I'm looking forward to that. The Charlie's Angels are with us on that meal, and that's going to be a fun evening. So I will go ahead and get my disappointment for everybody out of the way. Because I chose the same as Andrew.
Hey.
And I chose the Blue Iguana Cantina as well. It's easy, but I'm going to tell you what won me over. I'm going to give you a couple reasons. Bonsai Teppanyaki is awesome, but remember what I said at the beginning, you know, your best ability is availability. Mm-hmm. And Bonsai Teppanyaki is not available on that many ships. It's on the 2XL class ships. It's on Panorama, and it's on Horizon. That's it. All the other Carnival ships, you can't get bonsai teppanyaki. So, I factored a lot of that into the equation. It also is at a cost. I believe it's like $36, $38, something like that. So you're paying money for it. It is a great experience. It is a great evening or a great lunch, offering or whatever. But those were two big factors. Its availability to all the Carnival fleet, the cost, and then I was on the New Year's Eve Breeze cruise, and I was doing a Q&A with the cruise director, Lawrence, who's an up-and-coming cruise director. He's very good. If you get him as a cruise director, I think you're going to be very happy. But in the Q&A, somebody asked him about what he likes to eat on the ship. And he was talking about Blue Iguana's tacos. And I hadn't had the tacos yet, on that particular cruise. And he's like, don't just go up there and get the tacos and put cheese on them or whatever and hot sauce and that's it. You got to load those suckers up, put the sour cream, put the cilantro, put, all this stuff he's talking about. And then as he was describing it, I was like, that actually sounds pretty damn good. And it was about lunchtime. I was like, I'm going to go get some tacos after this. And I don't know whether everybody else was at a Q&A too, but it's actually in one of my vlogs. And I did a video and I said, look, this is the first time I've ever seen the line to Blue Iguana Cantina be longer than the Guy's Burger line. No joke. The Blue Iguana Cantina's line was longer than Guy's Burgers. And when I got up there, I ended up getting like 3 or 4 tacos. I had like an ice cold Corona, and I did just what he was saying. I loaded those suckers up. I mean, biting the taco, stuff falling out of it and everything. And it was amazing. It was so good. We have, great Mexican food here in Chicago as well. But I'm telling you, those tacos hit somewhere special. They warmed my heart. So they were really good. And as Andrew was saying, you can eat there in the morning. Huevos Rancheros, for those of you that like Huevos Rancheros on C-Day brunch, the Huevos Rancheros at the Cantina are even better because, they make it right there, right then. So, it's as fresh as can be. Sometimes on C-Day brunch, you don't know how long it's been under the warmers or whatever the case may be. But you're getting it hot and fresh right there. Plus, as he said, you got all those condiments you can throw all over it. So that's really good. So the tacos, you got the breakfast burritos. So if you're in port and you're leaving, say 9 o'clock, you want to grab a couple breakfast burritos, throw them in your backpacks. If you're going to the beach, it's great to take along with you. So yeah, that's why I went Blue Iguana. But I saw so many of you saying teppanyaki. So this was the first one. We were in agreement for the most part. But you all are big teppanyaki fans. Oh, that's okay. That's okay. Oh, we got Eddie Lugo is here now too.
Hey, Eddie.
Eddie Lugo Studios. Let's see. Brooklyn Brooklyn. Yep. Brooklyn in the house. Yep. And what is going on, Eddie? If for those of you that haven't checked out Eddie Lugo Studios, go check him out. Mm-hmm. And Kevin says that's the only way a taco should be, stuff falling out of it.
Yeah, right? You should need a fork at the end to eat the rest of everything that fell off the taco while you're eating it.
And Christy and Angie, I'm enjoying my drink here. The ice is melted just right to combine with the bourbon and the right way. Okay, so we got one selection left to get into this Elite 8. And remember, next week, we are going to be doing from the Elite 8 down to the Champion. Mm-hmm. And next week's show is an exciting show for me because it'll be my last live show here, because the next live show or the next live I do will be on the Carnival Horizon. So I'm excited about next week's show, not just because we're doing the 8-1, but because it's my last one. And then I get to be all excited about heading to Miami and meeting up with the Charlie's Angels and Kevin B and whoever else is new to the Coach Cruise family. Introduce yourself when we get on the Carnival Horizon, and we will have a party, especially if you're going to Alchemy, because we'll be there almost every night. there and Havana and a few other places. So, all right. So the last bracket, the last game is C-Day Brunch versus the Chef's Table. And Andrew, I'm going to let you take the floor first on this one, C-Day Brunch or the Chef's Table.
So I have never had the opportunity to do the chef's table, unfortunately. Michelle is not a huge food person, especially like small portions and kind of different palate tastes. So I've never got the opportunity to go. I would absolutely love to go. It's very pricey, very limited again. So I'm just going to have to, unfortunately, just kind of give it to C-Day Brunch. However, that's right, Angie. My bad. But yeah, C-Day Brunch, we absolutely love. We go at least once a cruise. They used to have the filet mignon with the over easy eggs, fries on the side. One of my favorite meals of the entire cruise. You'll definitely need to nap or work it off afterwards, but it's a great time. And they have a ton of different options on that menu. So yeah, C-Day Brunch for me, but unfortunately it's just because we've never had the opportunity to do Chef's Table. I hear wonderful things, have seen many videos, all the different selections from the chef. So looking forward to it. Maybe if I go with another creator one time or something like that, I can kind of partner up with them and go to the chef's table one night. So I'll look forward to it. But what was your choice?
Well, and you know what? I didn't forget. And Sadie, she's got a small string of drool that you might be able to see. Get away from me, dog.
We'll have to start measuring them for
high five for Andrew there. Try to avoid the drool, but she had that drool. She's like, "Hey, I got another treat coming." So that was Angie's treat for the $15 super chat, and I'm enjoying my treat as well that Christy and Angie set me up with here. So this C-Day Brunch. Oh, before I get into mine, Andrew, I was going to ask what is your traditional orders for you, Michelle and Rhett?
For C-Day?
Yeah.
So Rhett's really boring. He just gets plain cereal with milk on the side because he's a weirdo. And then Michelle gets egg whites, and then she makes like an omelet with that. Usually she just gets all veggie omelet without jalapenos, and then I'm the big one, and I do the now it's just the steak and eggs, but I'm the one that kind of does it up in the C-Day, but it's just more of an experience than anything. So
Macrina, and if I'm mispronouncing your name, I apologize, Elizabeth Holder. So she has the comment, does anyone think that the C-Day Brunch has gone downhill? It always seems to be a long wait for the meal and always missing something we order. I have had an experience here or there, Macrina, at the C-Day Brunch. I know one time I ordered the chicken waffles, for example, and the waffle was like cold. And it took a while to get out and things. So, I understand what you're saying there. I think the thing that was disappointing for us was a couple of things that they eliminated from the menu. We were pretty big fans of. I know Anita was a huge fan of that seafood tower thing, where they had like tuna salad, shrimp salad, egg salad, some other salad, that you could order, and you could get a bagel and cream cheese and put like the seafood salad on it or whatever, shrimp salad. And I don't know, she just really enjoyed putting that all together and getting into that. And honestly, she would share some with me, and I thought it was pretty good too. Then I would get, say, like the salmon superfood salad that they had. It was a wedge of salmon that was really good with kind of like a sweetened glaze on it. And then it had all the superfood veggies and lettuces and stuff like that. And it was a really good combo together. That and a couple other things, I was very fond of that they got rid of. Yeah. And I really thought that menu was amazing, honestly. And they cut out a lot of stuff. Now, in fairness, they kept most of the favorites. They didn't it's not like they got rid of steak and eggs, for example, which is always a go-to. And that's typically, one of the things I'd always get would be like steak and eggs and huevos rancheros. And the steak and eggs are, usually really good.
It's
Okay.
hard. The menu was so massive previously, and it stinks that they cut so much. But it had to have been so difficult for them to prepare all these different. Like, if you go to the main dining room, there's 5 entrees basically, without adding, the other staples that you can get every night on the menu. But there, you're talking about like 7 pages of just completely different things. So that had to have been the thought process of them cutting down, and also obviously saving some money. But
Yeah, and Lito Tito did remind me though, there are a couple burgers that are really good. Now, Lito, I wanted to ask, is that the burger that has brisket and the burger and stuff, or is it like the burger plus pulled pork and something? I know at least on the original menu they had one that was like that because I had that one before and that was a heck of a burger. But he's saying the Voyager burger. They do have a couple really good burgers, and I haven't gotten it all the time. They still have things like the 12-hour French toast, which is a popular choice amongst people. But getting back into this, I have had the pleasure and privilege, I guess, to go to a couple chefs' table, Anita and I. And Anita is a bit of a foodie. Um, it is an amazing experience. It really is, especially if you go on one of the newer ships where they actually the dining area is actually in the cooking area, so you can see they have ceiling to floor glass windows, and
that's
you can see out into the galley. You can see all the chefs preparing food for the main dining room and things like that. And then you're in this it looks out of place. Like you're in this luxurious dining area with this beautiful chandelier, and you're sitting with, a dozen other passengers, and you have the chef or a chef and a couple of assistants, along with, 2 or 3 waiters or waitresses. And, they're always checking to see that your wine is full. And they explain each and every course. They take you into the galley, explain how, some of the popular desserts like the chocolate melting cake are made. They take you through appetizer by appetizer, and the food that you get at the chef's table is not anything that you can get, with the exception of actually, you don't even get the chocolate melting cake in the chef's table. They just show you how it's done. Uh, Everything that's in the chef's table is like, if you went to like a 4 or 5 star restaurant, it's that quality, so they buy stuff separate just for the chef's table. So don't think it's going to be like a glorified main dining room where, they're giving you a lobster tail and a steak. I mean, it's like premier stuff. And the chefs take a lot of pride in these chefs' tables. And I will say, I had the pleasure of dining with a couple of other people in the chef's table. A couple that stuck out to me were, we were at this one guy that was a big time foodie, and he talked about all these different restaurants he'd been to. And he was telling about his experience where, a family member took him to one of the first 5-star restaurants he'd ever been to. And he had said that the chef's table was better.
Wow.
The chef's table was better. Yeah, this is a big time foodie guy. Then the other experience I had was there was this kid that came to the chef's table. And, at first I'm like, oh, really? You're bringing a kid to the chef's table? It's $100 plate, or whatever. And then I saw the kid was really into it.
Nice.
And then so, we started talking to his parents and stuff like that. This kid was on one of those TV shows where there's chefs and stuff. And he like made it was in a different country or whatever, but they showed us the video. They shared their phone with us, and we were watching videos of this kid on this TV show making all this food. And then, that was like in the middle of the meal. So then I just was enjoying watching the kid as each course came. You saw this kid really get excited about the food, and you could see him really trying to taste the food and the different flavor, the complexity of it all and everything, and talking with his parents. But it was really, really a cool experience to see him really enjoy somebody that young You know, and
Yeah.
no offense to Rhett, you know, just blunts or whatever. But
Listen,
you know,
Rhett,
I don't know
Rhett can entertain people, but he's not a food person.
yeah. Yeah. So yeah. And Yoli says Chef's Table was amazing. We really enjoyed it. And Frankie says a little Gordon Ramsay. Yeah, that kid was a
Yeah.
little Gordon Ramsay. Kevin's got to run.
Kevin, have
And,
a
you
great
know,
one, brother.
we're about out of time anyway.
Oh, yeah.
We're about to hit that 1 hour mark. But I'll tell you what, this was a fun show. And I talked with Andrew, you know, before, and I said, do you think this is going to be enough to get us through the whole hour? And it, you know, it hit just the hour.
We didn't even try to like extend anything. It was just, you know, natural conversation, and it took the whole hour.
Yeah. Yeah. And you know what? I think next week has the potential to be even more fun than this week because we're gonna crown a champion. You know, we might have 2 champions, we might just have 1 champion. But I'm curious, and Andrew and I are not going to share with each other what our choices are until
No, we never do. We just have the same lists all the time. We work off of that, have the same brackets, but we try to keep our opinions kind of at home before the videos release. But I think we kind of know each other anyway and what we're gonna say. But
yeah, well, and we have done a few lists, so I kind of know what way you're going to lean, you know, sometimes, but not all the time. I wanted to thank everybody for the super chats. We had Frankie Floyd first today again with the super chat. He's numbers 1 through 7. Then we had Ann, whose numbers 8 through 12. Kevin B is 13 through 17. Tim G is 18 through 29. Christy C is 30 through 49, and Angie B is 50 through 64. So I'm pretty confident we are going to get to 100 or more on the next show. So we'll definitely be probably giving away a shirt on the next show. And Yoli, I agree. And Lito, I agree. And Christy, I agree. I love the show as well. And it was a lot of fun. Fireball Steve, I hope everyone has a great week as well. And thank you, Usnavi. And yeah, it's got the ocean blue color going with it. So, Michael, thank you. Thank you, everybody. I'm glad everybody enjoyed the show and look forward to seeing you all back again next week. Andrew from Funnelheads, go check out his video. I know he discussed it, you know, so you kind of know which way he's going to go.
Spoiled it for everybody.
Yeah. But it'll be fun anyway. And come back next week so you can see who we crown as champion. All right. Take care, everybody.
Good night, everyone.
Have a great week. All right. And in broadcast, there we go.